Hey there, folks. I'm Isaac, and I am a master of heavy armor.
And I'm Claire, and I took down an at.
And this is Make That Game,
where we pitch the latest,
the greatest,
new video game ideas
that won't ever get made.
Nope, that's not what they're for.
I like that you called it an at.
Is that not what it is?
It's an AT-AT.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Well,
just like the ATST is not an atst.
Well, no. Well, I don't know. I don't know why it wouldn't be an at.
What? Because
I don't know.
It's an acronym.
No, I know, but people say acronyms out like that.
They do, but I don't think in a Star Wars.
I thought our friend last night called it an at.
Our friend can be wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
All right. Whatever.
Well, let's go watch Star Wars. Let's go figure this out.
I mean, I believe you.
What do we do here? What is this? Why are we talking into microphones?
We pitch video game ideas to each other.
Oh, does that mean that I should have a video game idea?
Yeah, we usually, lately, we've been pitching on themes.
Okay, yeah. So what's today's theme?
Today's theme is doors.
Oh, the band?
I mean, it could be. We don't specify.
Oh, okay.
Any interpretation of doors is acceptable.
And when I pitch my game idea, what do I win?
The affection of the fans.
Oh, okay. Is there a monetary value on that?
No. In fact, this loses us money, technically.
Oh, no. All right. Here goes nothing. I'll give a game idea. Theme is doors, huh? All right.
Mm-hmm.
What if, you are a character who has to navigate a three-dimensional world in a first-person view.
Okay.
And you have the unique power of being able to collect and place doors.
Okay.
So you can remove a door from a wall. It goes into your door inventory. Your doorventory.
I was about to say that, and then I was like, I don't know if I can go there, but you went there, so congrats.
And then when you find another wall of the appropriate size for said door, you can place the door there.
So you collect doors from some walls, and you can put them on new walls.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and obviously when you remove a door from a wall, you can no longer passage into the place where the door went to.
I mean, could you put it back immediately?
You could put it back in the same space because obviously the space it would fit. It would. Not every door is going to be the same size, and not every door is going to be a useful size. A little mouse door. You're going to need a little mouse friend to be able to go through those.
Okay, so is it like an RP? Is it like a
It's mostly like a walking simulator, so like puzzle kind of game. I guess it would be a puzzle game, but walking simulator being like you're mostly just walking from point of interest A to point
I was just thinking like, how do you get a mouse friend now that's it's built in the world?
You find a mouse and you do a little quest for him. Good. And then he says, I'll follow you for some cheese, please.
Good.
And as long as find more cheese in the world, that's how you place the cheese, and it summons him. And he comes for the cheese, and then he says, what's the business, sir? And you go through the door, please. And then he eats the cheese and he goes through the door, and then you get to play a little sequence as him, and he's third person. His little missions are third person when he does something to unlock a door. I just realized something, so I'm adding a mechanic right here on the spot.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's
locked doors you can't put in your inventory. Because if you could just put doors in your inventory, like you would just walk up to every locked door, take it off the wall, and then put an unlocked door on the same spot.
Trade the wall, yeah.
Yeah, so the parameter for putting a door in your inventory is
you have to unlock it first.
You have to unlock it first, which is where the mouse friend comes in handy most of the time. That's not every door that's locked needs to be unlocked via mouse friend.
Well, how does a mouse friend unlock the door?
Well, you can have a little door, put it on the wall. He goes in the room, and then he does a series of shenanigans inside the room to eventually unlock the door. So like he climbs along like surfaces. Mouse sequences are more like a 3D platformer type of thing, like a Super Mario kind of game where you're just jumping around in the large world as a small little guy. And then your goal is to unlock the door so that your friend on the other side can go through the door and add the door to its inventory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what is like the purpose? Like what's your quest? What's behind the doors that we want to get to so much?
So you are, let's see. I didn't think about like an actual story. So it's either an escape. Let's say you're escaping like a villain's tower. Maybe you're a princess escaping like a Sleeping Beauty or Rapunzel style tower. But instead of long hair, you have the door power. And that would also explain the little mouse friend, because like these kind of like Disney princess characters, they always got a little guy who's a friend.
That's true. They always do. Right?
And so maybe that's what it is. Maybe you're just trying to escape a tower, and the person who imprisoned you there didn't know that you had the ultimate ability of door inventory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
and
like
it
that.
also because it's like a Disney character, like a Disney princess character, like. Also unlocks
a legally distinct princess character.
It unlocks this whole fantasy capacity.
Yeah, like really nice theming.
There can be some dwarves and some elves also trapped in the tower that can maybe help you in different ways. Maybe you collect a couple of friends, not just the mouse friend, and different friends can help you unlock doors in different ways. And
yeah, well, sounds cool.
And then you get out and you defeat the evil queen at the end. Oh, yes. At the end, there will be a final battle.
Okay.
There will be basically no other battles in the entire game. It will just be a random, like, oh, here's combat mechanics, by the way.
Great. We love that when that happens. We've talked about it, how awesome it is.
Maybe it doesn't do that, but I'm adding it in there, just a little spice, a little flavor.
Okay.
And that's my...
door inventory.
Princess Dorothy.
Okay.
Princess Dorothy and the adorable door caper.
Okay. I mean, that is legally distinct. I can say that.
There's
say
a
that
name.
right there.
Hey, we did it, folks. All right. What's your door themed game idea?
Okay.
Oh, I just realized dwarves. But like in this, like maybe the people who make doors are dwarves.
You can't pitch two games. I guess you can't.
No. I'm just saying, my game.
Yeah.
Instead of like having dwarves, they're dwarves. And they are the makers of the doors, and they have in magic over doors.
Maybe you can like
your power
pay for them to make doors of special specifications.
Yes, special specifications. Oh, you know what? An interesting mechanic would also be. I'm sorry that I already ended my pitch, but I'm going back to it. An interesting mechanic that I just thought of is maybe doors need to match materials. So like you can't put like a wooden door on a stone wall.
Yeah, I like that. I think that makes it harder.
Yeah, just a couple more layers of like puzzle ability, because like if you don't have these kind of weird restrictions on it, then what is stopping you from just having, I've got one door, like it's going to work for the entire game.
I feel you.
Let me just take the smallest door that I can fit through and like use that the entire... No, you have to get different doors of different materials to put on different walls. Otherwise, it's just too easy to solve all these little exploration puzzles.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, and
like
okay, and now I'm done. Now we can move on.
All right.
Now I've got my $1 million. Yep. My game is being made by the AAA studios. It's going to be released. By the time it's released, it is actually all just somehow going to be a Call of Duty game, because that's just what AAA does. But we are ready for your pitch.
Okay, wow, we went on a little bit of a tangent there, but yeah. So mine is basically like, I think this is a Roblox game, not like that exists necessarily, but like it would fit in the Roblox-averse based on...
I've never played Roblox.
So I haven't either, but based on what I understand, I mean, it's basically Playpen from Mythic Quest, the TV show.
Okay.
So basically, people go in and they build their own games with the within the system.
Which is it a scam yet?
Yeah, is it a scam? Yep, it's definitely a scam because it
That's a
basically
TikTok
steals,
reference, folks.
It steals children's money. So that's not the part I want to do, but it would fit in that realm because it's a door decorating contest multiplayer online game.
Okay.
So a thing that happens at like offices and schools to pretend that it's fun is door decorating contests. Or like you have a theme and you have to decorate your door to that theme, and some people will go really crazy and some people just like glue a little piece of paper on it and call it a day. So basically it would be a game where you have a door and the themes would rotate like daily because it's like an online game.
Okay.
So you log in daily and you work on your door and you have like, I mean, I do want there to be a resource. I think like you get points. You start with a certain number of points and you can use points to buy like cooler stuff. So you have like basic stuff, but you can buy like confetti upgrade or like, you know, banner upgrade or whatever. And then you earn more points by like placing higher in the judging
in the
stage.
leaderboards.
Yes. Yeah. But how it's judged. So basically you'd like all enter at the same time. Like there's like a group of players who enter. And then at the judging time, they all rate each door. That's not their door.
Okay.
And then those ratings are how we determine daily who is on the door leaderboard.
All right. So like every hour?
No, every day. 24 hours.
Oh. Wait. So like, okay, let's say there's 1 million users.
Well, they'd be separated into just different groups.
Okay.
Like you would be
But you wouldn't like stagger it so that those groups are at different times?
Oh, I guess you could. I thought you meant like every hour there's a new contest.
No,
like
no. like instead of all 1 million people are entered in at 3:00 every day, it's like you know.
No, that makes sense that you can make sure like your time zone wise and stuff. You
can
that's
pick, mostly what I was thinking.
You can pick a time group that works best for you.
Right.
Yeah.
So like you can submit. It works around people's schedule. Makes it more accessible. We love an accessible game.
We do love that. So yeah, it's kind of like Sticky Business meets like some kind of fashion game, I guess.
Okay. All right. And you're judged by your peers.
Yeah.
I would assume that you can't just vote for your own door.
No.
Okay, makes sense.
And that's why like you're like you can't really like if you vote everybody won, then like that doesn't really help you necessarily.
I would assume that you only had like one vote or maybe like top 3 votes.
I think top 3.
Yeah, so you could be like I give this a gold, a silver, and a bronze.
Yeah.
And then leaderboard is most gold.
Then you get points, and when you get more points, you can buy more cool decorating supplies. But no real money because I'm not trying to scam kids.
Yeah, no. I am. So I'm adding real money behind the scenes, but
yeah, I know it's simple, but is that
What's it called?
a game? Is it a game?
That is a game. Yeah, no, that's a game. It's a browser game, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, super accessible. Yeah, that's a game.
Cute little game. It's called Door. I didn't name it.
Okay, Dora, I didn't name it. Well, I give you $1.5 billion of investment.
Doors of Beauty.
Doors of Beauty. Okay. All right. That works. So fun fact about doors. I'm just gonna go on a little tangent, but doors are very hard. Like they are very difficult to implement and a major pillar of like game design, like figuring out how doors work in a game. Because it messes with AI. You have to write AI routines to like know how to open doors and like whether they should be able to detect things through doors, what they should be able to detect through doors, how many doors they should be able to follow you through.
You mean
if they're like chasing the character? Yeah.
Which are non-playable characters, so like the people you meet when you like chat.
Yeah, like any computer controlled entity in a video game. Yeah, they're just overall like a super complex like thought pillar of game design, to the point where we could probably go on for hours, but I'm not mentally prepared.
Okay, because it would be a good discussion maybe.
But I know like when I think Last of Us like the original Last of Us came out, there was like a article by one of the game designers of it that basically talked about how, like, for Last of Us specifically, if I'm remembering correctly, I should have looked this up beforehand because I knew the theme was doors and I knew I was going to talk about it. But like this whole article goes on about how like they spent so much time getting every single detail of like doors down and how it seems like such a simple thing. Like on the outside, you're like, doors, how hard can they be? It's just an object in the game that you click and it opens or closes. Nope. And I will say from personal experience, I did make a game once with doors in it. Worst mistake of my entire life.
Okay, interesting.
Huge, like
I mean, you don't want to discuss this today because it does seem like a really.
Oh, I thought we had a different plan. I thought we.
I mean, we did, but you brought this up.
Well, but as I said, I'm not like super prepared for like a longer. Like I was just gonna end it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna end it there. I was gonna say I tried making a game that had a 3D dungeon crawler, first person like kind of dungeon crawler game. It had doors in it.
So are doors different than just like a threshold, or does that have the same issue?
Well, please explain what a threshold is.
So just like basically like if you were in a house, it would be like an archway, but there's no actual door there. So like in a video game.
I mean that has some problems, but like not the vast library of issues. Like
so I guess I'm curious how that's different, but how the door is different than the threshold.
Well, because a door has open state and closed state, whereas threshold is always open. So like when you're writing the intelligence routines, like how to move through the environment, how to chase the player, etc. Like the NPCs need to consider open and closed state as opposed to a threshold. If you think of like the world as tile based, which not every video game works like this, but just as a quick example, if you think of every room as tile based, a threshold tile would be exactly the same as any other floor tile, whereas a door tile has the additional state information.
That makes sense.
So you need to, if something happens on the other side of the door, how does that work? Like if an NPC needs to cross from side A to side B, how does that work? It seems simple, and in some cases you can make it simple, but when you get into complex, like especially 3D games, because like a door frame can change the size of the door, which means that your hitboxes, like your colliders, need to also be built around like the door size, or the doors need to be so like. Do we want realistic sized doors, and what does that mean for like our hitbox colliders and stuff? Anyways, what are we going to talk about for real though?
For real, we are going to do a Baldur's Upgate, which is a Baldur's Gate.
I don't get it.
Baldur's Gate update.
Yeah. Can you explain the joke?
Yeah, because it's Baldur's Gate and update, and so it's Baldur's Upgate.
Okay.
Because we're updating the listeners on our Baldur's Gate progress because we're...
Can you explain the joke in a Peter Griffin voice?
I don't know who Peter Griffin is.
From Family Guy?
I haven't seen Family Guy.
You've never? Oh.
No.
Okay, Baldur's Upgate. Let's talk about Baldur's Gate 3. The third, the cutting edge of new video games. How long has it been out?
It must have only been like a couple minutes because we're on the cutting edge, you know. No, like 3 years, right? I don't know. No, like 2 years.
And we're maybe in Act 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up how long it's been, but we are on the cutting edge of video games. We're playing through Baldur's Gate, and every mechanic annoys Isaac.
It does. It truly does. And before we continue any deeper, I do want to say this is a spoiler segment.
Oh yeah, spoilers abound.
We're gonna mark in the most podcatchers, I think, have this capability. If you go into the description, you can read the copy that I write every week.
He works hard on it, everybody.
B, you can click on the timestamps, and if you don't want Baldur's Gate 3 spoilers, you can
just go right to the rapid fire round.
Go right to the rapid fire round. And
okay. It's 2023, so it has been out for 2 years.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. We're almost done. We're almost on the cutting edge. So
wow, a partial version was released in October 2020. Full access was August 2023. Okay, that's just interesting.
Wow. Yeah.
That was
2020. Early access I think had like a demo that I remember a lot of people playing. So Baldur's Gate 3, every mechanic annoys me. Okay, can I just talk? Doors in this game also work in interesting ways, especially during combat. Remember when we did that fight just the other day where we opened a door and a combat started and then like we closed it, but the enemy was like halfway in the door?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what was going on there.
I don't think the game knew what was going on.
The game
there.
didn't.
It had
The
no
game
idea.
doesn't know what's going on a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the most annoying thing about this game, and I don't know how this has made it to 2 years after release, right? Especially when they did an early access. I am a wild-shaped druid, so I spend a lot of time in a large bear or owl bear form. I am a large creature. And if I try, let's say there's two creatures, diagonal to each other, and there's a 5-foot gap between them. My large character cannot get through that 5-foot gap if I tell them to move onto the other side of that 5-foot gap. However, if I say attack an enemy on the opposite side of that 5-foot gap, the game is like, absolutely, you can go through that 5-foot gap, sir. Absolute. Why would you not be able to go through that? We are just going to path you straight through that. Awesome. Really cool. How does that have two completely different movement systems? How does it determine, how does the pathfinding work differently depending on whether you select a spot on the floor or an enemy to
selecting
attack?
targets is really annoying. I think that's like one of my least favorite parts as well.
It's like, what, 75% of the time when you say throw something at someone, it says, oh,
so
you want a melee?
It'll like switch very quickly. Like if you like breathe on the controller, it's like suddenly like, because I'm like trying to target a throw or just a ranged attack.
Yeah.
And suddenly it'll be like, oh, you want a melee? Or it's happened where I've done a ranged attack and for some reason run up to within melee range of the person and then shot an arrow. And I was like, that was 0 what I wanted. Thank you, game.
So that is the only one that I kind of understand, because sometimes it's like a line of sight thing. It's like, oh, you can't see from anywhere except for standing right next to that.
But like, it didn't show me that was what was going to happen, though. You know what I mean?
The
like
preview just will straight up lie to you.
Yes,
like...
and then it's happening, and you're like, what's happened? Because if I was going to do that, I would have just done a melee attack.
Yeah. I one thing that I really love, sarcastically, Owlbear has an ability called Crushing Flight, and it says you can access this by pressing the up
that's a
button
lie.
on the D-pad. No, for a long time it did work.
Oh,
for a very long time, it absolutely worked.
Okay,
it 100%. It was like,
did it work for Owlbear or did it work for Bear?
For Owlbear.
Oh, okay.
Because Bear doesn't have this ability.
Oh, I thought it did.
No, only Owlbear has like the crushing jump. So I got used to using up to spend my bonus action to jump on enemy.
Yeah.
And do AoE, like bludgeoning damage.
Which means area of effect.
So area of effect, bludgeoning damage.
It can take multiple
chance to knock him prone.
Enemies at once, yeah.
Yeah. And then just randomly the other day, it was like, I don't think it does that anymore. Like every single time I've pressed up on the D-pad, it's been like, oh, you want a normal jump. Absolutely, what you want right now is a normal jump.
And I think it's kind of doing the same thing with the melee range stuff that's happening to me, though. Like, I think it's like, because it's like a slight shift. Like, like you do it, because it'll say, I've seen it, like, say, like, crushing whatever, and then it's like you move the target, and it's like, oh, just jump. Just regular jump.
Oh, is that? I have not noticed that.
So I was trying to pay attention to it. I think that's what's happening. I'm not 100% sure, because also I'm doing my own stuff, but... when you brought up the problem, I was trying to pay attention to it.
Okay.
And I think that might be what's happening. I'm not 100% sure. It might just be completely broken. But yeah, I think it also could be like the stupid, like where I'm like, throw. And then it's like, so melee? So you want to run. You want to run up to it, right?
Yeah. And the best thing ever happened the other day. I think it was against Ketheric Thorm, right? Where I decided to do a normal jump. I think I did a normal jump and I somehow hit allies when jump has literally a normal jump has literally never damaged allies ever before.
That was wild.
And it wasn't even a crushing flight.
I thought it was a crushing flight because I thought it kept
crushing flight doesn't affect allies anyways.
Yeah. So either way, nuts.
Somehow a jump. I'm pretty sure it was me jumping from the floor up to the platform it's all on as well, which. I think that if you jump from a high enough height and land on someone, I think that does do bludgeoning damage just like you take falling damage and they take
Yeah.
an equivalent amount of damage. But I'm pretty sure I was jumping from a lower to a higher level, so that doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. Well,
Like, what was happening? I
yeah.
want to know what's happening inside the game's brain.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Another thing, just while we're on jump, is like I've tried to jump over. So my character has very low strength, so I have like very short jumps, and I've tried to jump over like obstacles. Like there's like fire on the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it says I can jump. Like it's like, okay, great, you can jump. And I don't know if it's like I'm missing something on the screen or what, but what will happen is I will run into the fire to get in range to make the jump that I selected. And it's like, no, that's called not being able to make the jump. Like, don't tell me I can make it if I'm going to step into the path that I'm supposed to be jumping over.
The pathfinding absolutely does not consider hazards.
No.
Like the time I told Gale to Misty Step and he walked directly into the lava 5 feet in front of him because I targeted 5 foot outside of the Misty Step range.
I think it's okay that it doesn't, but I think it needs to let you.
It needs to like warn you.
It should
hey,
show
you pass through hazard. So here's the thing.
Okay.
It does show you. However, because often, especially when you're doing like Misty Step and jumping, you're going a pretty far distance.
Yeah.
You usually can't see.
Oh yeah, you can't see where you started. So it's like
so you see
the
you
jump,
target
and you're like, I can make it. Great.
Yeah, but you have to like target the jump and like specifically look back.
I think they could have like to fix that part. I think having like for any kind of movement where like you would have to move extra. Well, I guess in combat you could be looking at your move bar, and if you're supposed to not move.
Oh yeah.
Then it wouldn't cost
jumping
movement.
does
movement, so that wouldn't help.
Like just but like for Misty Step, you would be like, oh, it's eating 5 feet of my movement. I know not to do this because I'll jump into the lava.
But it could be nice to also have an on-screen like small warning that's like warning this causes like warning this will cost extra movement, and then you can be like, oh wait, hold on, and then like. I think maybe this is just me being a baby, but like I do think if you are in combat and you hit to attack like a sword, maybe it says, "Are you sure?"
Oh, there's a sword on the ground. Are you sure you want to?
No, that happened to me.
No, I know.
Because Karlak,
and sometimes you hit enemy or allies.
Yeah, so like I play as Karlak, and Karlak throws a bunch of stuff, and so there's a bunch of weapons on the ground very, very close to the target. And as my other character, I went to go attack, and I literally attacked a halberd. And I was like, cool, love that for me. Great use of my turn. Great use of my action.
Awesome.
Like, I think the game should know that that's not what most people ever want to do. And it could be like, warning, are you sure you want to attack a weapon? Warning, are you sure you want to attack an ally?
Yeah, because the number of times that you would actually be attacking, like, a chandelier to knock it down or a barrel to blow it up, like... That happens sometimes in the game, but not often enough where it would be like an annoyance like the 7 times you do it.
And I would say that's why it's like you still can. It's the game because I think it is important that the game doesn't stop you, because it is D&D.
Right, just a little. Are you sure? This doesn't feel right.
Are you sure? And I think only in combat you need that warning because if you're just like exploring and you accidentally hit a sword, whatever. But in combat you lose your action and it just feels bad. It just feels bad.
No, imagine if you destroyed Falar Aluv.
Oh, like I hit it too hard and it just like exploded?
Yeah.
I don't think that happens. Like weapons don't have durability, do they?
They do. That's why you can attack. They just have sturdy, which makes them take less damage.
So I could just like smash weapon. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Just like a treasure chest. Yeah. Just like the walls that... Oh my God, the walls. Annoying. So speaking of doors, the walls, sometimes there's like walls that you can smash down, right?
Yeah.
And what I've noticed is that you have to stand in extremely specific spots in order to do it. And literally nothing can smash them down that we've found except for like throwing either explosives or like bludgeoning weapons at them.
It's immune to basically everything but bludgeoning.
Like when I'm a 20-foot tall owl bear, I should be able
you really should
to
be
smash
able to
through a wall.
That should be bludgeoning.
It shouldn't take 10
it
turns
takes a lot
of throwing an adamantine chest into a wall.
I was just thinking
repeatedly.
what I should do next time is give Karlak like a hammer.
Oh, just to smack? Yeah. I mean, that would probably be better overall because the adamantine chest... Actually, I don't know if that would be better because the adamantine chest, the reason it does 5 damage each time is because of the Tavern Brawler feet. So if you use a real weapon...
Well, I think it would have a chance to do more than that each time.
No, but like it's reducing the total damage of your entire throw.
I wouldn't throw it. I would just regular attack.
I know. What I'm saying is from the data that we have, you currently do 0 throw damage, 5 Tavern Brawler damage.
Okay.
Your throw is usually super strong because it does Tavern Brawler, and usually it like rolls a bunch of dice, etc., etc. If you did a bludgeoning attack with like a melee weapon straight up, I think you would still only do the 5 Tavern Brawler damage if it's a Tavern Brawler weapon. And that's the thing. A real weapon isn't a Tavern Brawler weapon.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
No.
I'm
so sorry.
A big hammer
confused.
is a real weapon, so it doesn't trigger Tavern Brawler damage.
Yes, I get that.
So your big weapon that does 2d6 plus 10 damage
wouldn't do the extra
will
5.
do 0 damage instead of 5 damage.
I don't think it would do 0 damage. I think it would do damage.
Okay. I mean, we can try it out. But like, if the only component that's doing damage is Tavern Brawler.
Well, when we throw the chest.
Right.
But we haven't tried it. We don't know how it works with other things.
I would assume that whatever is reducing.
Was it really only doing 5 damage?
Yeah, it does 5 damage each time, which is why a 24 health
took like 5
damaged
throws.
wall takes 5 throws. Yeah, and that's why it's super annoying because you're only doing Tavern Brawler damage,
but like,
which itself is a bug in the game. To be clear, Tavern Brawler is not supposed to bypass all resistances and immunities,
just always do 5
and just always.
But we
do
like
damage.
that. We
do
like
like
problem.
we abuse it, but like, I'm going to give a little game design tip. I'm going to transition to a little game design tip. When you make a game and purport it to be based off of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, it should probably be based off of Dungeons & Dragons 5th. So, okay. Not one-to-one. There are some changes that like obviously need to be made to make video game work. Yeah. And I think that they did do some nice tweaks in that respect. Like, they made a couple of effects last until long rest. They changed how, like, ritual casting works. Instead of, like, taking 10 minutes to cast a spell, they make it, if you cast it outside of combat, it doesn't cost a slot. I think, like, little tweaks like that function pretty good. I think they expanded, like, the kinds of healing potion. They definitely expanded the loot list to make it way more of like a loot kind of game than like D&D would be. So like there's a ton of items that are like, oh, a little +1 here. Like helmets adding +1 to like constitution saving throws and like gauntlets adding +1 to strength saving throws. That's a neat little thing. Like, okay, usually it's like, okay, you've got your full plate. It gives you 14 AC. Let's move 18 AC, move on. So like, I think a lot of these little tweaks that they did, super cool. But like changing like basic core components and mechanics is really strange as someone who like does play D&D 5e. It's really strange when my expectation of what's going to happen doesn't match like what actually happens. The most aggravating thing that I've found in all of this is they changed how invisibility works. Okay? They changed how invisibility works in D&D 5th edition. Invisibility makes you invisible.
Whoa.
It does not make you, I don't know what it would be called, unhearable.
Like silent?
It doesn't make you silent. It doesn't make it so that you don't make footprints. It doesn't take your smell away. Basically, if you go invisible in D&D 5th edition, you gain the condition invisible, and attackers have disadvantage against you. It doesn't remove you from the entire world, etc., etc. And if you want to mask all of those other qualities of being a physical entity, you have to take the hide action. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So hide would be like carefully stepping to not make noise. Spraying perfume. I don't know how you mask your scent. Maybe like hide would at least.
Is scent in D&D 5e?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yes. Yeah.
I can roll to smell?
Yes, you can. And wolves have advantage on it because dogs have good smell.
Okay.
Anyways, what I'm saying here is normally if you're playing D&D 5th edition, there's a creature goes invisible. Like if you're playing on a grid, if you're playing with minis, that mini is still there because in theory your character can still smell or hear or see the footprints it's making in the powder, etc., etc. Like, you have an idea of where it is, but to represent the fact that it is not visible and it is like a creature occupying a 5-foot square of space, and it's not obviously 100% of that space unless it's like a gelatinous cube, you have disadvantage to attack it because you don't know exactly where it is. You just hear its feet scraping against the cave floor or whatever. So you go over to where you hear the scraping sounds and then you stab at it blindly. Cool. Speaking of blind, the way invisibility works is you are effectively blinded to that one creature. 100%. Awesome. Description in Baldur's Gate 3 of invisibility describes exactly what I just described. Makes you invisible. Attackers have disadvantage against you. The way that Baldur's Gate 3 actually processes this is, oh, I'm just going to like remove this being from existence entirely. Like, like you can still hit it with AoEs. It'll be somewhere.
So it does,
but you have absolutely
exist,
no idea. So yeah, you have absolutely no idea where a creature that's invisible is. And to a certain extent, I can forgive this. I can absolutely forgive this if it's used like sparingly, or if they design things around this new concept that they've introduced and possibly change spell descriptions to like introduce that they've made this change, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay. But they made a fight where one of the enemies has the ability to, like, as a bonus action, go invisible every single turn. So every single turn of theirs, they move somewhere, they attack you, then they immediately go invisible again, and boom, disappeared from the entire world. You have to use some kind of AoE effect to track them down, or you have to have some kind of true sight, or blah, 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 whatever. If I'm a freaking bear, I have a sense of smell. I should be able to smell the big smelly demon who sleeps literally in a pile of gore. Like, he has scent markers.
Yeah.
He's 20 feet tall, stomping around, possibly leaving footprints in like the blood and viscera that's all over the floor. Like, there are definitely ways that I know where this man is, but the game is like, no.
But how would that be? I feel like that would be difficult to do in the turn-based. Like how would you do that? Because, like, some characters might have perception enough to see, others won't. Like, how do you determine if footprints should or shouldn't show up? Like,
so you either make it a passive test, like, if there are, like, if there's a buried treasure chest, some characters fail their survival check, some characters pass the survival check, and then it's revealed, right? It would function the exact same way. Have it either a passive, have it as a passive perception. If you really want to represent, like, oh, it's more difficult to be able to pinpoint someone by sound. Like, maybe you can hear them, but you can't even like figure out a 5-foot square unless you do like a passive, like, DC 15 perception test or something. Like, okay, cool. And then bats get echolocation. They get bonus to sound-based checks. Cool. You can do all kinds of stuff in this that, like, works within their mechanical system that, like, all makes sense and would not be as egregious of a change as let's make a huge change to a feature and then, like, make that feature a touchstone, like a key point of an encounter. Like, let's build an encounter ignorant of the changes that we made to this spell. That encounter would be 100% fine in normal 5e.
Yeah.
But in Baldur's Gate, because of the changes that they made to invisibility, it just does not, like, function. Like, it's a broken encounter by their own game system.
I mean, well, you do have area of effect, like, weapons, and you can get true sight or potions of see invisibility. So to the same logic as you had with the Featherfall, that, like, you should just be able to do things. Like, there's so many options, and we did win. So I don't know if it's fully broken.
I think that just because you can win it doesn't mean it's not broken.
Okay.
By broken, I mean, I don't think it's functioning as the person, like, the people involved in setting that scenario up intended for it to function.
Well, I think we also did it weird, to be honest. Like, I think we did it weird. I
don't know what you mean.
Because we attacked in, like, 2 waves, and we got rid of, like, every crony before that guy. I feel like there would have been more, like, I don't know, like back and forth of the smaller villains and, like, him going invisible and not invisible, like, in battle with everyone might have made it easier to keep track of him, or, like, I don't know. And we had, like, cornered him in, like, a really awkward, weird location, so that was really tough. Like, we couldn't use a lot of things that we had because of where we were located. So I think there's, like, other stuff. Like, part of why I say like because we wiped out everyone else first is like when he went invisible, we had no actions basically because we had no idea where he was. We couldn't target him. But like if there were still other people, like we could target other people on and off, and maybe he'd be near those people. You know, like it was. I don't know. I think we had it in a weird place too. I don't think it would go that way with every player.
Yeah, I think a lot of players had their eyes dug out by Volo and replaced with always see.
I know. I wish I could go back and do that.
You were so close.
I was so close, and then I was like, it's too gross. And you're like, do what Kelly would do. And I'm like, we're not doing it. Kelly's my character, by the way.
Kelly is your character.
Yeah, I was talking to someone at work about Baldur's Gate, and I said, yeah, it frustrates Isaac a lot. And he was like surprised that he's like, why? What? It's such a good game. And I'm like, oh, Isaac knows how to play D&D. And he's like, oh, that makes sense.
And it's not
because that part does not frustrate me at all because I have zero like I've played D&D 5e, but like I mean I'm very bad at knowing how things work.
Okay, but like if we just take away the D&D 5e-ness of it, that fight, I think I would still be frustrated by that fight, even if I had no foreknowledge of like how invisibility should work. Big quotes around here in D&D 5th edition. I would still be super frustrated by a fight where the entire thing is the character every single turn goes completely invisible.
Yeah.
And
I mean, yeah, that would be, it is frustrating.
Like, you have to blindly stomp around with AoE attacks and hope that you eventually hit it because you don't happen to have any invisibility resources because you didn't know that you were going to be fighting invisible enemies, so you didn't have any chance to prepare to be able to take down an invisible enemy. So what, do you just have to go around all the time with C invisibility potions?
You can also you can leave and come back.
That's true. That is true.
I'm not saying it's not frustrating either. Like I do think it's frustrating and again, kind of like in our Featherfall discussion, like they could have had like a chest with C invisibility potion in it, like somewhere hidden in the area, you know, like such as like both a hint and a resource.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that might have been nice. But yeah, again, for me, the rule changing stuff, like really unaffected. Completely don't care.
Like I said, like a lot of it is just kind of like rolls over the head. Like I get frustrated, like by how they changed jump to be a bonus action instead of just part of your natural movement. I get frustrated by that, but not enough where I'm like, they've broken the game. They've ruined.
But enough that you bring it up every time it happens.
It is so annoying, but I don't think from a game. I think that they have a game design reason for doing so.
Yeah.
In the conversion to a video game, I was complaining about this to one of my friends who played Baldur's Gate 3, and he was like, well, if they didn't make jump a bonus action, it would be too easy to like dodge all the difficult and dangerous terrain and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but that's also fine. Like that feels fine. It feels fine because that's how it works in 5th edition anyways. And people haven't really complained about that. So the other thing that they changed is they just made jump. You always get a certain jump distance, whereas in D&D 5th edition, you need like a running start in order to get full distance. And there's all kinds of things that make it so like in 5th edition itself, it wouldn't be viable to just like jump over spikes.
Right.
Willy-nilly. Like if someone summoned spikes in front of you, like you wouldn't be able to just jump out of it. You'd have to have a running start, blah, blah, blah. It would be difficult to do in combat. So like I kind of get, okay, there's a game design reason that they made jump into a bonus action. That makes sense. Like they didn't want people to just bypass all this stuff.
Yeah.
Fine. Changing invisibility the way that they did, absolutely not. What are you talking about? This is broken not just from a 5th edition like rules perspective, but this is broken from like a gameplay. Like am I having fun as a player? Is this cool to do in this way? No.
Okay, well, we're clearly done talking about those things.
Yeah, we're done complaining. Oh, let me talk about another. No, that's not game design enough. That's more plot design. I was just going to complain about how I'm pretty sure we beat Act 2, but I'm not sure that we beat Act 2.
Yeah.
And the game is hinting towards a lot of things, and it was
one game design thing that we just encountered that I think was really bad was we were forced to do long rests like 4 times in a row,
Yeah.
and that was not great.
No, and like yeah.
Like literally
okay,
forced.
Like,
But
yeah.
at our next Baldur's Upgate, we can talk more about that. And
As soon as
also-
we figure out which act we're actually in.
Right. No idea if I'm going to have to long rest again by force either. So who knows? But it's going to be the rapid fire round now. That's where we generate 3 random words. We come up with a game idea based on those 3 words. We have to also come up with the gameplay loop and the name of that game. And we only have 5 minutes to do it. That's why it's rapid. Yeah, I have the first 3 words. I'm ready to go.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Shareholder,
Oh,
magazine, attract.
okay. Okay.
Not the most exciting game probably, but we'll see.
Okay. I don't know mechanically how this would work, like programmatically how you would make this work, but I like the idea of you being basically a zine designer. Like,
Okay.
your role in the company is to create the shareholder zines.
Shareholder zines?
Yeah, magazines. Yeah. Zines is short for zine, for magazine, right?
Well, it has its own definition. Like a zine.
What?
A zine is usually a like self-published small booklet.
Okay.
That
Well, yeah, this is what a
often-
shareholder...
Okay.
Because, like, you wouldn't have Random House publish your shareholder booklet.
Yeah, but you also wouldn't make it a zine, I feel.
Okay, well, whatever. Anyways, the idea is you have a bunch of charts and graphs
Yeah.
of data that you need to manipulate in such a way to make it all seem good in the magazine as you distribute it to the shareholders.
Yeah. No, I like this.
So you're rated based on how good you're able to like mask or disguise the data or like bend it to look good. But like that's where I'm lost as to how mechanically do you do that besides just like terrible graphic design and like having a bunch of like filler articles.
No, here's what it is. This might be too real, but each level you're given a bunch of different data. Like a lot of data. And you just get to pick which ones are in the magazine.
Oh, so there's like 100 data points.
Yeah.
And you pick like the 10 that best represent.
You have to sift through. It's almost like Excel simulator because you can like sift through. You can make charts. So you can also play with like how each chart is presented. So like, does it look better as a bar chart or does it look better as a line graph?
Yeah. And where you set like the 0 point of the graph. Because like if you set it at 10 million... And then you set the top point at $10,001.
Yeah, and it's like, look at this
that's
growth.
That's a steep line.
Up and to the right.
But if you actually look at the graph, it's like, okay, so we gained 6
or
more
you can
cents
pick,
of profit last quarter.
Like, I think it's a quarterly report, and you can pick also like how long in the past you're looking. So like maybe if you were like a lot better in like a year ago, you only show the last quarter and this quarter, and you're like, no, see, like we went up, but it's like we're still under like a year ago, but we're up now, so that's great.
Yes. Okay. So, yes, you get a bunch of... Okay, so it is literally like... This is a game for Excel spreadsheet like nerds.
Yep.
And the goal is to make the best looking data from the data points you have as possible without straight up like creating new data.
Yeah. You're not lying.
So you're not lying. You're just misrepresenting the situation.
And I also like your idea of like maybe there is a set of data that's just so bad, and you kind of can use bad graphic design, like, oh, the copier didn't work so good. So like
I was like specifically thinking about like distracting images or articles.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
So that when people turn to the page with the bad data, it's like a bikini ad or something.
Gotcha.
Stupid like that.
Yeah.
And so like depending on how distracting of an article or image you put,
now,
like people don't even look at the data.
So I think we have like that, but how is like mechanically this all happening? Like, how do you judge if you did a good job? The game judge. How does the game know?
So we hook it up to ChatGPT.
No.
And we asked ChatGPT,
no.
Does this magazine make you want to buy stocks?
No.
No, like the easiest thing I would think at that point is like some kind of like large language model. I say easiest. I don't know how to programmatically rate data interpretation.
I mean, can there be some kind of like... Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say like a match, like a thing, like if it's like a certain, like if the line graph is a certain angle or more, then that's like a good thing. You get like a plus if you know.
Oh, but yeah, it could literally just track like the steepness of like, oh, good data is green, bad data is red. It just judges based on how much green is in each chart that you display.
Sure.
Like at some level, like that's like the basic monitoring. Do we have a name? Because we have 9 seconds.
Zine magic chart.
Chart goes up. Line goes up. 3 seconds.
Okay, yeah, chart goes up. I like chart goes up.
So you said zine, line goes up, zine.
And I said zine magic chart.
Oh, zine magic chart. Yeah, well, we already said line goes up.
Line goes up.
All right, ready for round 2?
Nope, hold on. Okay, yes, I am.
Starting it in Poyo. 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 Go.
Aunt?
That was Kirby counting, by the way.
Yes,
Aunt,
Kirby's right here.
AUNT.
Aunt, yep. M-box, a word I've never heard before, but I'm assuming it means to put into a box.
What?
EMBOX. And confrontation.
Is this about going to an aunt's funeral? Like a family member's funeral?
No, I was thinking it's like maybe your aunt's helping you move or something. You went,
okay.
Not have to go dark.
Okay, sorry. All right. Okay.
It could be like an inheritance game.
No, I like your idea of moving. Okay, is this unpacking in reverse? Is this packing?
Packing. For clarity, unpacking is a pretty famous indie-ish. Is it indie?
I think it's indie.
Indie game.
It's indie.
Where you unpack boxes. That's like the whole game and organize stuff. And this would be the opposite.
Packing boxes to help members move. Well, where's confrontation come from?
I'm trying to. Okay, yeah. So it is to enclose in a box. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I already looked it up. I didn't say anything because it was exactly what you said.
No, I know. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't like other words.
Okay, so
meaning. Confrontation. I mean, maybe it's like. Oh, what if it's like not just packing, but you also have to like get rid of old stuff, and then you like fight over it, like your aunt.
You have like a little turn-based like battle system where you pick like arguments effectively of like why you should get rid of certain things.
Yeah, or keep them. So I think it's like your aunt is probably like on the side of like getting rid of stuff. Like she's supposed to help you like declutter. Maybe.
Okay.
And so like you're like fighting to keep as many.
Okay,
things.
So you're moving. Your aunt's helping you, but she wants to declutter.
Right, because then you carry less boxes. I feel.
Okay, and then you, as a character, your motivation is like keeping items of sentimental value.
Yeah.
But
still having lighter boxes.
So maybe
there's like a box maximum. Like you can only carry a certain number of boxes. So
50,
you have to decide
50 boxes
what
in
to
the
take
truck
and
or
what
something.
not to take. And yeah.
Okay. And the game is called Unboxing.
I like it.
And it's done with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock.
Unboxing, because that's our new favorite word. I think it's a fun game. I would play that game.
Yeah.
All right.
I especially like that I slunk in some turn-based combat.
Yeah.
in there.
I think it's a fun mini game. Yeah, because I feel like that's, I don't know, unpacking was missing some je ne sais quoi for sure. All right.
That's French for I don't know what.
Yeah, exactly. It is. All right. So now it's time for our final 3 words. Are you ready?
3, 2, 1, ready. Now, 3, 2, 1. Good. That was a bit. No, I actually.
Okay. Effort, demonstration, stream.
Okay. This is stupid. I'm going to throw it out there quick. You can shut it down.
Okay.
It is basically a walking simulator, hiking simulator. You are a young child. And you do look what I can do's. So like the specific example I'm imagining, crossing a log over a stream, and then you say, look what I can do. And then you do like you shuffle your feet and like do a little hop or something, and if you fall in,
so it's like
you lose.
Blind confidence of the game.
Yeah. Like so
no, I like where this is going. Let's keep going.
I'm specifically envisioning like it is a walking, like hiking simulator, right? And there's in all kinds of like different natural hiking obstacles. But the gameplay itself is like a skating game where doing tricks get you points.
Oh, I didn't know there. Oh, like a Tony Hawk.
Yeah, like a Tony Hawk
I thought you were talking
kind
about
of
like
game.
figure skating, and I was like,
No.
tell me more about that.
So it's like, oh, you did an ollie plus 1,000 points or whatever, but like each level is like a trail, and your goal is to get a high score doing stupid kid maneuvers in kind of dangerous situations.
I do feel like
in front of your dad.
Stream is like a little vague here. Like I get that. I guess it kind of set the scene, but it's not really a big part of it.
Yeah, I think that the most points that you can get is doing stupid stuff on logs over streams because that's the most dangerous.
I guess.
So doing a cartwheel, doing a clumsy little kid cartwheel, over a log on a stream gets you like 10,000 points.
Good.
So streams do become very important. Every level will have at least 2
I feel
streams.
like this would be an excellent speedrun game.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, and like the silly block, which is our favorite. Our favorite. And so sad. I feel like silly block should get a prime slot. I don't think it should be.
think so. We shouldn't have to wake up at 5 a.m.
No. Silly block should be, and we're talking about GDQ now.
Yeah. Oh wait, should I stop the timer?
We need to
the
name
game
it.
is called Look What I Can Do.
Look what I can do.
Look, that's just how I do it.
Wait, should it be called That's Just How I Do It? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's just how I do it.
That's just
2
how I
minute
do it.
38 seconds left on the clock.
That's a reference to one of our favorite TikTok sounds, by the way. But anyway, so yeah, back to we were talking about Games Done Quick, which is a marathon that raises money with speedruns.
Happening soon.
July
6th.
Yep, July 6th through the 13th.
Yeah. My birthday week.
Yeah. Just for you. It's speedruns just for you.
That's what I always asked for.
But they always have a block. Well, I think in the summer games it's awful block, and then the other one is silly block, but it's the same block. Basically, just like games we talk about them on the podcast too, because when I come up with a game that's silly, I call it a silly game, and it's not just because it's silly. It's like in this category of just like usually like faster played games. Like Untitled Goose Game is a great example of like a silly game.
Usually with some kind of silly concept or visuals.
Exactly, yeah. Or like weird controls, like the QWERTY game. What's it called? QWOP, yeah. Like QWOP would be a silly game.
QWOP. It was a pretty famous Flash game.
Mm-hmm. Where you had to like basically those keys control limbs, and you have to like run, but it's like so hard. It's so hard. Anyway, but silly block is usually like the Thursday from like midnight to like 6 a.m., which is not ideal. I think those should be Thursday from like 4 p.m. to midnight. Like that should be silly block.
I'll agree with that, because that's 8 hours of silly.
Then again, I do have to acknowledge that there's people in other time zones that probably really like that silly block, because it's like they finally get good content at awake times.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my friend in Spain who loves GDQ always is like lamenting, like so jealous that we get to watch like the Link games live, Zelda games live, because those always play at like 6 p.m. Eastern.
I love that you called them the Link games.
They are the Link games.
Oh my god.
Okay, well we've bantered enough.
Ooh, before we go into before we finalize the plugs, what's next week's game idea theme, Claire?
Oh yeah. Next week's game idea theme is ice cream.
All right, you heard it. All right, folks, ice cream next week.
Ice cream. That might be too specific, but I think we can do it.
We can work with that. No, that's easy.
Okay. Good point. So anyway, if you like the show, please give us a rating and review on iTunes or Spotify or whatever you can give us a rating and review on. That's super helpful. And also word of mouth is great. So tell your game making friends about us. And you can find us on at makethatgame.com, which is the best website ever developed. You can also find us
It's my day job.
Yeah. You can email us, makethatgamepodcast@gmail.com. And if you heard a game idea that you like today, you can play it, but only if you get out there and make that game.